LIB 104, Introduction to Library Technical Services, Week 1. Hi everyone, welcome to the class. I'm really looking forward to working with each of you. Before we move on, I'll provide you with some information about myself. I'm a full-time librarian, and I've been teaching this class since last year. I've worked in medical, academic, and public libraries over the past 25 years or so. I bring all of this up because this class focuses on library technical services, which we'll talk about more in detail later. But basically, in technical services, we're focused on managing a library's collection. Each library has different priorities regarding its collections, guided by policies, practices, and the communities the library serves. So an academic library will have a different approach than a public library, which will be different than a school library, which will be different from a medical library. At the same time, though, there are common threads that tie all these libraries together. And it's those common aspects that we will be exploring in this class. This class will be using Canvas as our primary resource. If you have any problems using Canvas or addressing this course in Canvas, let me know. If you're taking other classes at PCC, or if you've taken other classes before, you'll probably know that each class approaches their online delivery a little bit differently. So I want to take a moment to introduce you to our Canvas class so that you have a better sense of how to navigate it and assess the resources so you can complete this course successfully. Let's talk about libraries. Libraries can be grouped into 4 different types. There are academic, school, public, and special libraries. Academic libraries are those libraries that serve colleges and universities. School libraries are found in the K-12 system. Public libraries are tied to cities, counties, or states. And special libraries, well, that's a catch-all category that includes libraries such as law libraries, medical libraries, religious libraries, and more. Usually special libraries will be tied to a private organization or business. If you want to read more about the different types of libraries, visit the link listed on this slide. Libraries have come a long way in a short time. The image that you're looking at, for those of you that are unfamiliar, is a card catalog. We still have a physical card catalog at PCC, although we don't use it. It's more of a decorative or informational piece that sits in our technical services area. But when they were used, the card catalog was the main access point to a library's collection. Today, the main points of access for our community is through websites and online tools that are always evolving, where now libraries can link out to items they might not own, or through whatever online search tool or catalog system they might be using. When looking back at the evolution of libraries, the earliest known libraries are from around 4,000 years ago. These libraries tended to keep track of information and records on clay tablets. Over time, these tablets were replaced with scrolls. This was great for libraries as scrolls took up less room than large tablets, and they were much easier to transport. Scrolls, though, eventually led to the development of the codex, which is principally a book with pages that are bound together. A codex is different from a book in the literature, as a codex typically refers back to a handwritten manuscript from the days before the printed press. Once the printing press took hold, books became easier and cheaper to produce, creating a revolution of knowledge sharing, which also impacted libraries, as now more was being produced and duplicated. Over time, book printing became more efficient, and we started to see our first paperback books produced in the 1800s. And a flash forward to today, where we have e-books and other digital media that libraries collect and house, which are still relatively new for libraries as far as management is concerned, and how libraries provide access to them. Who knows what the next evolution will be? Obviously, libraries are more than just books and their collections. And whether one is working in an academic library, a medical library, a K-12 library, there are still some common aspects to recognize. One is that typically a library is a place. Whether assessing it physically or virtually, it refers to a specific collection of objects, and that collection is organized and it is deemed to hold some importance or value, otherwise it just wouldn't exist or be used. Libraries encourage literacy, and here literacy is not just about reading, but it's about understanding a subject area. For example, media literacy. You aren't reading media, but you are engaging with it and learning with it. Libraries are more than just a warehouse, though. They are set up to assist its audience in how to use the materials and information that it houses. And finally, libraries work on ensuring that the information that they do house is safeguarded and preserved for future use. Even though I outlined how books have changed over time, libraries are more than just books. They often house music, art, movies, and more. Libraries are places of information, and information can take many forms. Libraries have two principal functional areas. One is known as public services, and these are services that most often work with the public, or they're called forward-facing. Examples would be the reference desk or the circulation desk. And forward-facing refers to dealing actually with the public, or the public can interact with them. Technical services, on the other hand, which is the focus of this course, traditionally doesn't interact with the library community members, as technical services focuses on working directly with the collection of the library, which is basically collection management. Collection management encompasses a lot of different functional pieces that we'll be looking at and discussing as we move through this course. One area is collection development. This refers to how libraries determine what its collection will look like, and can be seen through two main processes: acquisitions, which means acquiring materials, and then deaccession, or weeding, which is getting rid of materials. Then there's processing. Processing after an item is brought into the library or if it is leaving the library. In processing, we have cataloged and then physically processed it. Then bridging or falling under both of these areas is electronic resource management, which also has to go through collection development and processing. Still, that process is a little bit different and has additional considerations as it moves through collection development and processing. In order to support our exploration for this class, we will use a few different online resources. Two of them that we're going to use are called LibraryThing and Choice Reviews. LibraryThing is an online service that lets users build their own library collections. We will be using a class account, and each of you will be building and managing a library collection within it. Choice Reviews is an online resource that provides reviews of books and other resources for academic libraries. We will be using Choice Reviews initially to help us build our collections in LibraryThing. Please watch the separate videos on LibraryThing and Choice Review for further detail. And this ends this week's presentation. Please make sure to return to Canvas to watch any other videos and to complete your assignments for the week. Take care.